Welcome to BuzzLab Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Breaking news: an international crisis is erupting. U.S. B-2 Spirit bomber downed by Chinese forces. South China Sea explodes. America and China on the brink of war. This is the reality on September 13, 2025. A U.S. Air Force B-2 Spirit, one of the world's most advanced aircraft, has been shot down. The Pentagon confirms the incident occurred over international waters near the Spratly Islands. This is a major escalation. The B-2, call sign Spirit 01, was on a mission to demonstrate America's commitment to a free Indo-Pacific. China claims these waters as its own, building militarized islands to enforce its claims. The U.S. and its allies reject these assertions. This flight was a statement. China answered with force. 2 U.S. Air Force pilots were aboard. Their fate is unknown. The Pentagon has only confirmed loss of communication. U.S. naval assets, including the USS Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group, are moving toward the area. Chinese forces are on high alert. This is the most dangerous moment in U.S.-China relations in decades. The world watches, waiting for Washington's next move. The president is meeting with the National Security Council. A response is being formulated. The question: can this crisis be de-escalated, or has the line into open hostility already been crossed? The stakes could not be higher. The world holds its breath. The B-2 Spirit is built for invisibility. Its shape, materials, and systems all designed to evade radar. For decades, it has been the king of stealth, able to penetrate the world's toughest air defenses. On this mission, the crew felt secure, protected by technology and international law. They were wrong. Chinese scientists have worked for years to counter American stealth. On Fiery Cross Reef, a new HQ-29 missile system achieved a partial lock on Spirit 01. Several missiles launched, filling the sky where the B-2 was predicted to be. The pilots had only seconds to react. Alarms blared, evasive maneuvers began, countermeasures deployed, but the attack was too sudden. One missile struck. The world's most advanced bomber tumbled into the South China Sea. Communication was instantly severed. At U.S. Pacific Air Force's headquarters, Spirit 01's icon vanished from the screen. Disbelief turned to grim realization. The Chinese had destroyed a strategic American asset. A search and rescue mission launched immediately, but the primary mission had shifted. This was now an act of war. The United States had been attacked. A response was inevitable. The world braced for what would come next. The rules of engagement had changed. The stakes had never been higher. The countdown to retaliation had begun. Deep beneath the West Wing, the Situation Room is tense. The president sits surrounded by top military and intelligence leaders. Real-time intelligence streams in. Satellite images intercepts drone feeds. The loss of Spirit 01 is confirmed. The first priority, the crew. Search and rescue is underway, but hope is slim. The second, understanding the attack. Analysts confirm a deliberate missile launch from Fiery Cross Reef. The evidence is undeniable. This was a calculated act of aggression. China remains silent, a challenge in itself. Advisors are split. Some urge restraint and diplomacy, others demand a military response. The debate is fierce. Anything less than action could embolden China, but escalation risks catastrophe. The president listens, weighing every option. The response must be swift, decisive, and proportional. Enough to send a message, but not start a war. America will not be intimidated, but the goal is deterrence, not destruction. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs presents a plan, a high-risk, high-reward strike using a new classified weapon. The target, the very missile system that downed the B-2. The order is given. The clock starts ticking. The world waits for America's answer. The next move will shape the century. The president's decision is made. The military springs into action. The fate of peace hangs in the balance. The Situation Room holds its breath. The countdown to retaliation begins. The world watches, uncertain. The stakes are global. The message: America will respond. The crisis enters a new phase. The president's order races through secure channels to the USS Ohio, a guided missile submarine lurking in the Philippine Sea. The Ohio is a silent hunter, armed with advanced cruise missiles. Tonight, it carries something even more formidable: the AGM-183A Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon, or ARW, a hypersonic glide vehicle, now adapted for submarine launch. The crew loads target coordinates, the HQ-29 missile battery on Fiery Cross Reef. The launch sequence begins. A vertical launch tube opens, the missile is ejected, breaches the surface, and its rocket ignites. The ARW climbs to the edge of space, then releases its hypersonic glide vehicle. It maneuvers at over 5 times the speed of sound, impossible to intercept. From launch to impact, 88 seconds. On Fiery Cross Reef, Chinese forces have no warning. The hypersonic vehicle slams into the missile battery with pinpoint accuracy. The explosion is immense. Launchers, radar, and command bunker are vaporized. The weapon that downed the B-2 is obliterated in under 2 minutes. The message is unmistakable. America's technological edge is on full display. The world sees the power of hypersonic warfare. The rules of engagement have changed. The U.S. has answered force with precision. The crisis enters a new, more dangerous phase. The world holds its breath. The next move is China's. The balance of power has shifted. The AGM-183 AARW, Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon, represents a new era hypersonic warfare. Traveling at over Mach 5, it's nearly impossible to detect or intercept. The ARRW is a boost glide system, launched by rocket, then glides at hypersonic speeds, maneuvering unpredictably. Unlike ballistic missiles, it can change course mid-flight, evading defenses. By the time it's detected, it's already moved. This makes it the ultimate tool for striking high-value, time-sensitive targets. The submarine-launched ARW was a strategic surprise. China expected threats from the air or surface, not from the ocean depths. The strike on Fiery Cross Reef was a perfect demonstration. A small, well-defended target, destroyed with surgical precision. Only the missile battery was hit, no widespread damage. The U.S. showed strength and restraint. The message: America can strike anywhere, anytime, with almost no warning. This is deterrence, redefined. The world has entered the hypersonic age. Old defenses are obsolete. The balance of power has shifted. America's technological edge is clear. The warning is unmistakable. After the 88-second strike, stunned silence fell over the South China Sea. On Fiery Cross Reef, chaos reigned. China's defensive pride was reduced to rubble. Their sensors detected nothing. The attack was a technological ghost. In Beijing, triumph turned to humiliation. Shooting down a B-2 was meant to shift the balance, but the U.S. response was overwhelming. One precise strike, not a bombing campaign, sent a more terrifying message. The White House broke its silence. The president addressed the nation and the world, confirming the loss of the B-2 and its crew. He condemned the Chinese attack and revealed the U.S. had responded with a limited, proportional counterstrike. The message: America does not seek conflict, but attacks will be met with swift, decisive force. The choice was now Beijing's de-escalate or face the consequences. To allies, it was reassurance. America's security guarantees are real. To adversaries, it was a warning. The technological gap remains vast. The 88-second strike redrew the line in the sand. The world watched for China's next move. The rules had changed. The U.S. had set the terms. The crisis was at a crossroads. The future was uncertain. The events of September 13, 2025 sent shockwaves worldwide. Global markets panicked, stocks plunged, oil prices soared. The South China Sea, a vital shipping lane, was now a flashpoint. U.S. allies were alarmed but relieved by America's decisive response. NATO called for de-escalation. Indo-Pacific partners quietly supported the U.S. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. The U.S. and China traded accusations. Russia sided with China, paralyzing the council. The crisis exposed deep divisions and the impotence of international bodies. For other nations, it was a wake-up call. The age of hypersonic weapons had begun. Military planners worldwide reassessed their defenses. How do you stop a weapon that travels at Mach 5 and maneuvers unpredictably? The 88-second strike rendered decades of air defense strategy obsolete. The nature of war had changed overnight. The global arms race accelerated. The world entered a new era of military competition. The stakes were higher than ever. The future of warfare had arrived. The world was watching and adapting. The South China Sea crisis didn't spark World War III. After the U.S. counterstrike, Beijing chose to de-escalate, issuing condemnations but no further action. The message was clear: the U.S. had a capability China couldn't match. A tense calm returned, but the relationship was broken. Historians now call this the start of the Second Cold War. This is not about ideology but great power rivalry, technology, economics, and military dominance. The South China Sea became the new front line. Both sides began a massive military buildup, especially in hypersonic weapons and AI. Washington shifted focus from counterterrorism to high-end warfare. Budgets soared for next-generation bombers, autonomous systems, and resilient satellites. U.S. forces repositioned to the Indo-Pacific. Integrated deterrence became the new doctrine. For China, the strike was a Sputnik moment, exposing their technological gap. They launched crash programs to catch up. Nationalism surged. The arms race intensified. The long-term competition became more dangerous. The world entered a new, uncertain era. The balance of power was shifting fast. The crisis of September 2025 is a stark lesson for our era. It showed how quickly a regional dispute can escalate between nuclear powers. Advanced technology compresses decision-making to minutes, raising the risk of catastrophic mistakes. The world came perilously close to war. The sacrifice of Spirit 01's crew was a wake-up call. Complacency is no longer an option. The U.S. response showed the value of precision and discipline. The 88-second strike marked the dawn of the hypersonic age, rendering old defenses obsolete. Deterrence now means holding any target at risk, with speed and precision. The focus has shifted to resilient command, space sensors, and AI to manage the modern battlespace. The South China Sea crisis was a glimpse into the future, dominated by speed, stealth, and information. peace is not guaranteed, it must be preserved through strength and resolve. The events of 2025 redrew the geopolitical map, new lines were drawn, a new era began. The lessons from the brink continued to shape strategy. The world must be ready for the challenges ahead.